Here in Thailand. There's everything to play for over the next month. This Japanese rider, Sho Nishimura, who arrives as the main man in charge of the standings with 115 points, 18 clear of his closest rival, Afritsa Munandar. 14 points adrift from him is Adinanta Putra and Takuma Matsuyama. There's 150 points still up for grabs, so they're all still within a shout, but it's Nishimura who's cool, calm, collected, and most importantly, consistent. The last time we were in Buriram, though, it was Munandar who took the spoils along with Tachikon Boasi, who will be looking again for that home crowd support to help him to take him to the top step of the podium. There's two other Thai riders looking for glory as well, though, not to mention a wild card too. Stay tuned, let's get rolling. Buriram, be ballin'. Hello, good afternoon and welcome from a sunny Surrey? Not in England, we're in the Chang International Circuit in Thailand. And I wanted to say it's sunny because this morning when we came on air for all the Grand Prix classes, it was an absolute deluge of rain. It was basically a flood. You couldn't have more of a contrast in conditions facing the Asia Talent Cup boys to kick off the second half of their season. My name is Matt Dunn, alongside me is Fran Wild. We have both made it to the commentary box without being completely exhausted and shattered from the blaring heat outside, but these guys have got very, very tough. Half an hour or so ahead of them. The grid is packed. Fran, we're ready to go. And it's this man, Afritsa Munandar, one of the championship contenders on pole position.
It is, and yeah, Surrey is a very far cry from what we have here. That was a wonderful mouth typo there.
Yep, wonderful.
But yeah, this Buriram circuit then looking really nice for this race for the ATC guys now. Good track conditions. We've not had any rain or water down on track for a good few hours now. We've had qualifying obviously for the Grand Prix classes. But yeah, it's an interesting grid I think today in terms of the championship, with one of the men who did take a win here at Buriram last time we raced earlier in the year, starting from pole like you said, Munandar, Indonesian rider.
Yeah, he took a classic Buriram showdown. That final corner in the background of your photo there, the cause of so much drama in all the rounds that we've had from Thailand here, especially in the Asia Talent Cup. We expect there's one race today and one race tomorrow as well, around about the same time, and we're expecting a showdown right until the end. Well, rounding out the front row of the grid, we have the local boy, Tachikon Boasi, who of course took the second race victory here last time we were in Buriram a few months ago. And I did mention before, there are two other full-time Thai riders, Warit Thong Nopakan and also Piawat Patumios. Those guys actually occupy 5th, 6th and 7th place in the championship. We do have a wildcard entry as well, Turakit Biufa, who is the wildcard number 22.
Yes, it's lots of home pressure, I'm sure, for the Thai guys, and especially, like you said, Boasri. Last time we were here, he took his only podium of the season so far, but it was an incredible home win here at Buriram. So no pressure, I'm sure, for him on the grid. But him and fellow winner, like we said, Afritsa Munandar, both on the front row, which is very good news indeed for them if they are to try and do what they did earlier in the year. We have a championship leader, Sho Nishimura, down in 6th on the second row.
Yep.
You can just see it in the back of shot there with the green helmet. So it could be an interesting race here, I think.
Yep, Sho Nishimura will be looking to keep well away from that man. That's Sayafruddin Azman. He was the man who took Sho Nishimura out of the race last time out in Sepang in a final corner dash. Final corner, bit of an over ambitious move, I would say, from the Asian rider, but. Well, Sho Nishimura, got to keep it upright. He did, of course, whilst we were here last time. Here he is on your screens now. He crashed last time we were here as well, but because of the red flag that came out the next lap, and then the results went back a lap before, he was declared as part of the result, and he did actually finish 2nd.
Yeah, that's maybe something that could be playing in the back of his mind, but we'll have to see when the lights go out now, because it has been quite a while. Obviously, we raced in a sort of summer break at the Sepang International Circuit alongside the Malaysian Superbike Championship. But it's a good while since we've seen these guys here in the MotoGP paddock racing alongside us, and I think it'll be an interesting one as we get, like we said, the second half of the season now, but they come thick and fast with 3 races in almost as many weeks, just a little bit longer before that season finale at Sepang. So there's a lot of pressure now in a lot less time than we've had over the first half of the season.
Yeah, it does sound like with this many races in just over a month or so, it's really crunch time in the season, but we are technically only halfway through, of course. There really is all to play for, and so many guys still in the running for the championship.
Well, mathematically, everyone on the grid who's entered every round, but you know, it could be interesting.
There are definitely more favourites than others, I should say.
I would say so, but yes, certainly the math says that it is still anyone's Asia Talent Cup this season. But yeah, the likes of Nishimura and Ananta Putra and Afritza Munanda, they'll want to make some ground up on him. And then Matsuyama, he's been the man really with the pace behind Nishimura, but just not quite had that not quite had that same consistency, and so he's taken a bit of a dent in his championship position, so I'll have to see what he can do as well.
Yeah, Matsuyama came up short back in Malaysia. A big crash for Matsuyama in the second race, running over a curb and then coming together with that man you just saw on your screens there, Thong Nopakun. Just caught his right leg, it seemed, and that really sent him absolutely flying in the mid stages of the second race. A really horrific crash. There has been some absolutely enormous accidents so far this season, but we've had a couple of red flags, but hopefully we don't see any of that today. But Matsuyama definitely needs to keep it rubber side down, although he is pretty much equal third place with Adananda Putra. 83 points both to their names, and they are 14 points adrift of Afritza Munandar in second.
Yeah, and of course the Asia Talent Cup racing on a Saturday now, and we'll be racing again tomorrow, so it's 50 points per round, so everything can change incredibly quickly. You just have one bad weekend and you can really see your position in the championship suffer. So I think today will be an interesting one, as it is the first race after quite a long break. But yeah, all eyes on the front row then, and the 2 guys who previously won at Buriram, and then Sho Nishimura just on the outside of that second row. Yeah, it got a bit of a new season feel to it almost, this second half of the year, with such a long break between this and the last race. I must admit, it could get a little bit frenzy-like, a bit crazy in this first race at least. Just like you, a little bit crazy it would seem.
It's been a long day. Had an extra hour of commentary this morning that I wasn't anticipating.
Yeah, but now we have the sun back, and we may be suffering, but also a lot of these guys are from very similar climates. Yeah, so likely not quite the same challenge for them as it will be for your likes of British riders possibly, or German, Finnish in the Grand Prix classes.
I think we were talking about the commentary box.
Well, no, the commentary box is beautiful and fresh.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't describe it as fresh for people having been in it all day, but it certainly is very nice to call up here. And I'll tell you what, we've got one heck of a view here as the sun is starting to go down. Oh, the sound curtain's just falling all around us. I have nothing to do with it, I swear. But we've got a lovely view from our commentary box all over the circuit, and the sun is just starting to go down a little bit. The shadows are looking very long. Still quite a crowd here for this Asia Talent Cup race, and as you come in to the circuit, the long grandstands in the final sector, we've got a Marquez grandstand, a Valentino Rossi grandstand, a Songkyak Chantra mural on the back of one of them, and also a mural dedicated to the 3 permanent Thai riders in the Asia Talent Cup class. What a load of support there is for these guys here.
Yeah, it's great to see. Obviously, a lot of the riders in the Asia Talent Cup come from countries that are part of this Road to MotoGP program because they don't quite have that representation on the world stages yet. And this is designed to, you know, help their careers and get them up to world championship level. But obviously we have a lot of Japanese riders, and there's been some amazing history and some champions from Japan that will just be unforgettable. But a few of the newer guys, especially the Indonesians, the Thai riders, Malaysians, it's really great to see both their presence in the Asia Talent Cup and then in the Grand Prix paddock, and also the incredible support they have at home.
Yeah, particularly no better example this weekend. The Songkyak Chantra doing rather well in the Moto2 class. I won't spoil it how it's gone for him today, but he might be a little bit disappointed with qualifying, but plenty of support here for him this weekend. Of course, we just found out actually over this weekend his nickname is King Kong Kong.
It is King Kong Kong,
no
which
idea
is
why,
a bit of a mouthful.
Yep.
When Thai is not your native language. Because yes, one of our lovely helpers at the pre-event in Bangkok was telling me how to pronounce it properly, and it was quite a challenge, even though it seems quite normal with 3 syllables, but no.
Well, here we go then. Riders coming to the end of that warm-up lap. Fritzo Munandar, the number 4, comes to line up on pole position with Erjan Firdaus, the other Indonesian, right alongside him in 2nd place. Alongside them, Tachikon Bwasri, the Thai rider, looking for home glory once again. He was the last victor here in Buriram in the Asia Talent Cup. Hopefully no first corner dramas. Let's see how we get on with this one. Quite tense along the grid, I must say. It looks as Sho Nishimura just rocks up last on the grid. Very cool, calm and collected, as he's been so far this season. Well, the marshal with the red flag at the front moves to the side. The red lights will come on, and we're going to go racing here in the Asia Talent Cup. Race 1 here at Buriram is go! Wow, that is a pretty equal start from all the guys on the front row. Usually we've seen Bwassi. Actually, he got the whole shot last time we were here in Buriram, and he's done it again from the outside of the front row. But that looks like Matsuyama, the number 11. Oh, that's Sho Nishimura, the championship leader. He's gone down. He had a great start, but I'm pretty sure that was him who went down. It is. You can't even see him. Who went down with him? Well, we said how much it could change immediately, Fran, and it all really can. There will be no finish for Sho Nishimura here in Thailand in race 1.
Or will there? We'll have to wait and see. It looks like he is the right. Yeah, he's the rider that's up and back on the bike then. I think that'll be a bit of a big ask to get back in this race and really do anything in terms of scoring points.
We have another crash on turn 3 as well.
There, yeah. So, bit of a dramatic start then to this first race back from a summer break. Who's that that's gone down there?
Ooh, that could be Abdul Mutakim. I would think that, yes, that's got to be Abdul Mutakim there. I would say the number 20
I think
rider.
It was Wakamatsu who went down with him.
Could be. Well, we're keeping a very close eye on this, but it's Matsuyama who's made his way out front. Well, first time we really saw him last year was when he got the double win at Motegi. This guy knows how to win a race. He's not got one so far this year, though, as I double-check my notes. No, he has the 2 second places at the start of the season back in Qatar. What drama already, Fran. Still 16 laps to go. I hope that's not completely blown this race apart and decided the result already. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get some updates on those riders who went down, because a couple of, big dramatic incidents to start this race off. And we saw Nishimura at least was definitely up and okay. No harm done for the championship leader, at least physically, from that incident. But it'd be good to see a replay as well to see exactly what happened there. It all seemed pretty hectic and tight there. Oh, that final corner at Buriram, it's all cracking off down there already. These guys do really chuck it into those corners. It looks very, very tense. They really do. And this final corner at Buriram is just made for that final corner dive down the inside. And we've seen that plenty enough from these guys already here at Buriram. But Matsuyama then really is in control of this race. Just managed to capitalise on that drama and move through. And it'd be really good for his championship charge if he's able to stay there. And especially as well, stay out of the drama and not get into too many fights and incidents and just take that clean win. But Nishimura, as you can see then, he is back in the race and got that bike going. So 1 lap in the books then. We have Matsuyama, followed by Munandar and Puja. Here's what happened at the start then. Keep an eye on the left of your screen there. The number 3, the green helmet of Sho Nishimura. Gets a little bit twitchy, you see, but he made a good start. Very overly ambitious, though, in the first corner. And just too early on the gas. He was so close to being taken out by other riders. And who was that who went down with him? I couldn't quite see. We're going to get another replay here, though. All eyes on Nishimura, as you can see from the cameramen. They knew who they were following. Down he goes. Oh, that was a nasty, nasty incident there. Yeah, it's a difficult place. That obviously that was a self-caused incident there for the championship leader. He just tagged someone else. I think we'll get to it. Happens so quickly as they're all passing. It's really difficult to see who that was. Well, but let's have a look. Who it looks like it was Kasuma who went down with him then from the live timing that we can see. Yeah, the number 7, the Indonesian rider who went down, unfortunately. This was what happened down at turn 3. Number 2 there, that's Rei Wakamatsu who did go down. You were right on that one, Fran. I could see on the patch on his leathers, I kept thinking I was reading the word Hamamatsu with Suzuki on the brain, but no, it's Wakamatsu. So they were both up and okay at least. But yeah, it looks like it was Kasuma then that went down with the championship leader at the start. Hopefully we'll see he is
up and okay at least.
Well, we do have another rider up into the podium battle. Then we have Asman, who's really been a big beneficiary of all the drama that's happened over the first couple of laps. He was in second there, but Boisserie has just overtaken him down on the straight. Now it's all about the braking zone down into turn 3. You got Putra and Munandar alongside them both as well. Who's going to brake latest? Looks like Munandar has, but has he gone wide? No, he's got the drive back. Boisserie's been pushed way back. So we have another rider in the fight for the podium battle then. Asman, who of course caused all the drama at the final turn last time out in Malaysia as well. Well, Sho Nishimura then, unfortunately, it wasn't his fault last time, but it certainly was this time, crashing out of the race here.
Yeah, and Asman had some really, really good pace in FP2 as well on Friday, which is a sort of similar time of day as well, so that could be an interesting one. But it looks like we've had a jump start notification come up on our screens for Adinata Putra, so that's he's currently in second according to the graphics. Yeah, so that's a big blow then for one of our championship challengers. 2
championship challenges, including Sho Nishimura. So this race could really be Munandar's main trump card, I suppose, then, if he really keeps it up right throughout the next 14 laps or so, because for Putra, that is going to absolutely scupper his race. Where did he start from, Putra? Started from 8th on the grid. That's why we didn't keep too much of a close eye on him. I was just keeping an eye on the front row of the guys who all got a great start.
They did. That was tough to call. It was almost completely the same from those guys. Drag race down, but then Matsuyama's the guy who's been able to escape from that drama then, and him and Munandar.
We have a crash in the foreground of our picture there. Who went down? 2 riders. 2 more have gone down there. Blimey.
You made me jump there.
Sorry,
so
I just saw the sparks.
Down. So we've got Australian flag on the helmet there. Have to see who that is that's gone down. Obviously, pretty unhappy.
The number 6. That's Thong Nopakun who's gone down, the local rider.
Don't know. Going from body language, it looks like maybe it was Warwick who caused that, but we don't know because riders tend to blame the other very often. Let's see what happened in this incident then.
I don't know where to look. I don't know who I'm looking at. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. It seems Thong Nopakun was very much not at fault there. Clearly wiped up on the number 18. Oh, that was Harrison Vogt.
Harrison Vogt, so yeah, a bit of a mistake there then from the Aussie, but those two coming together, at least up and okay, and we've got Thong Nopakun back in the race, but that's a bit of a disappointment for the Thai rider, his first race back here at Buriram.
Yeah, bearing in mind he's 5th in the championship, Fran, only 24 points off Fritz Munandar, I think that is there. And of course he got a podium last time out in Sepang, 4th place in race 1 as well.
Yeah, it's been really impressive, pretty solid season from Thong Nopakun so far, so I have to see what he can do. Don't know how much time he lost out, a fair bit. So it's about 15 seconds then off the back of the first of the guys who hasn't gone down, and then in front of Wakamatsu and Nishimura. But Nishimura obviously with that incident lost a lot more time, and it was also when the pack was very much still closed off at the start.
Got to keep an eye on that jump start though, Fran, because Adinata Putra, well, the laps are ticking down. I believe you have 3 laps with the board out.
I think you do. I can't
in order
see
to take your ride through.
From our position. We can see the box where they'll give them the notification.
Well, here he is on our screens at the moment. Yeah, there it is, the ride-through penalty for him. So it has to be within 3 laps of getting this notification that he has to come in. How much attention is he paying to the pit wall, or is he focusing on the group all in front of him? He's 4th position in this little group whilst Matsuyama makes hay out front.
Yeah, it's always a difficult one, isn't it? Especially in races like the ATC and in Moto3 and the World Championship as well. It's so hectic. There's so many riders in such a big group battle. I can't imagine trying to keep an eye on pit board and or whatever you've got to adjust amongst yourself as well. And then some riders like, yeah, I was looking at the big screen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's incredible the amount of information they can take in, but I guess that's why we have a good few laps for them to see a penalty and then take it. So hopefully Putra will see that sign with his number on it and then head in for a ride through.
Got 12 laps to go, and looking at our timing screens, checking who's been involved in accidents, who hasn't. It is a really bad day for Australia because Luke Power was involved in that incident on the first lap as well, but he has rejoined the race. He's not come across the line just yet, but he is stone dead last, just behind Nishimura as well. 12 laps to go then. Matsuyama looks pretty much uncatchable. He's got that really awesome old school style, Japanese rider riding style.
That Japanese rider riding style.
Yeah, just with 12 laps to go, looking well, unflappable, clearly. And I must apologise to Sho Nishimura, because I think the commentator cursed him by saying he looks very cool, calm and collected. Here he is here. What does he do? Out of the first turn, flings it at the scenery.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there for Nishimura. You can see a bit of stuff on that camera there. But he would still be the championship leader then if it ended as it does now. But that was, I guess, based on Renanda not winning this fight for second. So that could be an interesting one. But yeah, Nishimura still will be in with a good shout of leading this race as championship leader, and certainly holding on to that lead tomorrow as we have another 25 points on the table. But at the moment, it's Matsuyama who's really going to gain big here today.
Yeah, he really is. And the good news is for Adonanta Putra, it looked like he was coming into the back of pit lane there, just watching him roll through the back of your screen. So he should be coming in. Yes, he has entered the pits. So can he score any points out from this? Although it's a long pit lane. It actually starts all the way back from turn 11, and then you actually have to slow down even before the final turn down to the pit lane speed limit. You can't go over it, otherwise you'll probably get another penalty.
Yeah, definitely. Once you've got a ride-through or a penalty like that, you want to make sure you take it cleanly, because it can be pretty easy to just lose your head a little bit. Don't want to name any names, but we've seen people before, maybe in Argentina, get one penalty and then you end up having a bit of a crazy race thereafter.
Yeah.
So always good to stay calm and collected, like we said. And yeah, we'll see what Putra can do now then. He's headed back out on track and joined this pretty good Asia Talent Cup race so far. This fight for second is getting intense.
Well, the good news for Putra is he's joined back in 14th place, which at the moment would mean 2 points for him on the board, which every point really counts at this sort of halfway stage in the season, especially when he'll know Sho Nishimura will score absolutely none at the current stage.
Absolutely, and it shows you how much time that incident for Nishimura did cost him at the start, because Putra's taken a ride through and he's still 2 places ahead of the current championship leader.
Fortunately, unable to pull off a full Aaron Canet back at Silverstone and only lose 10 seconds. There's a number 19. Oh, that's Luke Power, who's finally coming into the pits. It seems as though he's retiring from the race from that first lap crash down at turn 3. All safely through the final corner then. Coming out onto the straight, we have Asman at the number 13 in second place from Feardaus, who's made a great recovery. I think he was in about 9th or so after what was seen to be he must have got caught up in some of those first lap incidents, because from second on the grid, he was plummeted way down. And then the local rider, Wasri, in 4th place at the moment.
Yeah, I don't actually remember seeing how Matsuyama made it into the lead of the race, what with all the drama just behind.
Must have been down at turn 3.
Yeah, but he certainly, yeah, made the most of that. And these guys now, I think...
Oh, we got very wide there. Oh, sorry, Fran, who was that? That was Mahadi who has joined this group. The Malaysian rider, just getting all sorts of sideways. Mate, you don't need the Asia Talent Cup, you need speedway.
That was pretty extreme, and especially with 10 laps to go, there's not much on the line yet. The main thing you want to do is stay in the battle.
Oh,
but
my heart.
I was going to say, yeah,
Oh.
I saw your face, guy. I was like, what's happened? But these guys then, I think they're going to have to say goodbye to that win, fighting as they are. Given Matsuyama so far, it seems pretty pitch perfect, unless the Japanese rider in the lead makes a mistake. I think this is most definitely a fight for second. And there's, what is there, 6 of them in it, just about? Yeah, 6 riders, 2 places on the podium. I think it's going to get pretty feisty.
God, I've got that feeling when you've just had an awful fright and clearly you don't realise your whole body just tensed up, and now it's like, oh, we've just been really tense. That was quite frightening from that camera angle. Well, the good thing is for these guys, looking at Matsuyama, he has made mistakes before. He made a mistake out of the lead last time out in Sepang, but hopefully for his sake, he will learn from that one. He is doing the business out here, up front. We got 10 laps to go, so should be okay here on in if he's learned from his previous mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the number 10 there of Feardaus just tapping the back of his bike saying, follow me, follow me. It's a tactic often used and rarely followed by those behind, but we'll have to see. He certainly did get a really great run through the final corner there. It looked like they were really closing up on him, and then just made a little bit of breathing space on the straight. But here at Buriram, obviously the slipstream can be so important, and that gap, I imagine, yeah, already closed up again.
Well, one rider we've not mentioned in this leading group here is Igarashi. He's actually up into 3rd place at the moment, or is he when we could break him down into turn 3? We're getting a little bit crazy down there. Igarashi did have a crash whilst we were here last time, back, well, a couple of months ago now, but staying upright at the moment, so shout out to him, because that will be a solid result if he manages to finish in this group. He's been bumped back to 5th in all that melee down into turn 3 though at the moment. Munandar, your pole position man, bumped down to 7th place at the moment, has been the number 4.
Yeah, Igarashi is certainly one of those I expected to start a little bit further up the grid. And Munanda, I expected to be a little bit further up this fight at the moment. As I say that, he takes back 6th place. But you never know, you know, some of these more veteran campaigners who've already been on the podium and had wins might be a little bit more content to not get too crazy so early in the race. I say early in the race, but, you know, we've got a good few laps for the end now before we need to have that crazy last lap battle. And we'll have to see how they manage it. But at the moment, then, it's just a few position switching, but they look like they're definitely locked together at the moment until the end of this race.
You imagine it come at 9 laps time or so, it's going to be all about that run through that little complex there, through his turns 9 and 10, etc., and 11, all about this run down to turn 12. If you can't get a good drive, you're not going to be in a prime position to make a late overtaking move, late braking move down into turn 12. Well, safely, I should say, as we look at Matsuyama still. Oh, a bit of a twitch going down there into turn 1. A few riders have made a big twitch. I wonder if there's a bump. We know there's a bump from what happened in MotoGP qualifying down at turn 5. But turn 1, particularly in the rain earlier on, was a bit of a trouble zone for some of the competitors out on track.
Yeah, we can see then as well on the side of your screen, Nishimura is currently on to score a point. So he's managed to attack Wakamatsu and move through to at least get 1 point then today for his efforts, which can be very valuable. Everything, you know, obviously 50 points a weekend, it seems like a fine detail, but come the end of the year, those things can be extremely important. So mission next will be to catch Putra, although I'm not sure how far behind the Indonesian, the championship leader, is at the moment. I have to wait until they come through, I think, to have a look.
Getting very tight there between Munandar and Boisserie, the numbers 4 and 5 through turn 4. This is turn 5. Bit of a problem zone there for some of the MotoGP guys with a bump, and it was nearly very much there. Who was that in the background trying to make an audacious overtaking move? It was Igarashi. The number 9 behind him. So those guys just about staying upright and not colliding with anybody through there. It was a bit more of a close call.
Yeah, most definitely. You can see as well, Firdaus just able to make a little bit of breathing space once again at the head of this group, although they're able to close back in again on the straights, it would seem. But they will have to be careful, because Matsuyama's made the most of the group behind him battling and his pace being pretty good to really extend that advantage, which is nearly 5 seconds now for the Japanese rider out front. But these guys need to not get in each other's way too much if they think Firdaus has a good pace.
Yeah, quite right, Fran. You don't want him getting away too much, although in terms of the championship, he's only got 40 points to his name as the Indonesian, down in 8th place. Only a 4th place so far this season, and I do remember him, he's had some great qualifying performances. He's often in the group over the last 2 years or so, but just not been able to put it together for podiums and wins consistently just yet. Last time out, though, was Firdaus. No points in the last race that we had in Sepang, and a crash in the second race that we had here in Buriram. There is Adananta Putra, the number 16, still heading round. He's got 3 seconds ahead of him to catch up with Thong Nopakun, so another point at least could be available to him if he maintains a consistent pace. But let's wait until he crosses the line as well as Thong Nopakun. Look at their best lap time. So Thong Nopakun last time around, a 1:49. Well, that was very marginal, wasn't it? As we're looking at the jump start there. Thank you for pointing that out. That, Fran.
You were too intent on reading those numbers. The focus was otherworldly.
Well, I'm very focused on it, because he's 4 seconds quicker than Urbe in front of him, so he could well take another point, could Putra. Thong Nopakun, a second slower than Putra as well, so that gap is coming down. He could get a better points haul than perhaps he was expecting with that jump start.
Yeah, I imagine his heart fell when he saw that ride-through penalty and was thinking, oh, that's no points for me today then. But already was going to probably have the chance to score some with the crashes and incidents we've seen. But now as well, like you say, got some really good pace on some of the guys ahead of him who are, you know, the newer guys or the guys who are really starting out their careers. And there is a bit of a difference between those and your usual front runners in terms of pace. So that's a bit of an advantage if you do end up with a ride-through.
Yeah, I do remember you recognise every year we do Asia Talent Cup. Some of the names still crop up after a couple of years, but then there's always some wildcard rookies throwing it into the mix as well. I think it was Munandar who last year came around, it was a lap before the end here in Buriram, and thought he won it. And unfortunately hadn't. He still had one lap left to go and had to crack on and settle for whatever place that he got.
What we call a classic Alex Rins nowadays.
Or Julian Simon from 2009.
Also, yeah, true. So yeah, really, it breaks my heart to see stuff like that, because it's like the best feeling in the world thinking you've won the race and then like, nope, sorry.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get no more of that in 6 laps time. Yeah. But this podium fight then still very much together then. Verda's not been able to pull the pin, and he's now back as well into... can't count, is that 4th? Yes. So it obviously closes up very quickly here at Buriram, and he wasn't able to quite break away from the group as they were fighting it out. And it's now one of our former Buriram winners, Thai rider Tactical Mwazri, who is in that 2nd position at the moment then. But Mananda now looking a little bit feistier than he was earlier when he dropped a little bit through this group.
Yeah, always quite shocks me how squirrely they get on the brakes, these guys, into those heavy braking zones. We're looking at here, this is Sho Nishimura then, the number 3. Whereabouts is he at the moment? Who is that? Wakamatsu just behind him? No, yes, it is Wakamatsu just behind him, sorry. So these two still find out. That point is not a given for Sho Nishimura.
Maybe not then, yeah. I did expect that he'd pull away a little bit more than he seems to have done, but we never know if he's got a little bit of a problem with anything on that machine after that crash that's just causing him a bit of an issue, but we'll have to see, because yeah, I did think that Nishimura then would really blast up to those guys ahead of him and try and take them on, but at the moment there's still a really big gap to Irbe in 14th.
7 on screen, so we're looking at a replay there, but I don't think we were. But Sho Nishimura, well, these guys, the only ones who, the only person who's been able to put in a 1:47 lap time has been Matsuyama out front. Everybody else has been sat firmly in the 1:48, all the chasers. So their hopes of catching them are completely gone in this race. 6.3 seconds Matsuyama has out front of the chasing group. But we are going to have to keep an eye on this one between these two, Matsuyama and Sho Nishimura, to see whether Nishimura can come away from this race from his own mistake with any points on the board at all. I'll tell you one thing, the fairing's a little bit loose and that front brake protector ain't going to do anything.
Yes, you see that bike has been down the road earlier in this race, but and there's scuff marks on the leathers as well. You can see not great for the sponsors there, a little bit rubbed off, well, but Nishimura races on. So we'll have to see where he can get to, and at least if he can keep that final point that is available here.
Good thing for all the sponsors, though, is all the riders are wearing the same leathers, so there's about 15 other riders on track they can look at to get
I've
their
never
exposure.
Felt so immediately disappointed in myself. That's so true.
Well,
but, you know, not on the high-profile guy at the back, at least, you know. But Matsuyama, then, he's still plodding on at the front. Pretty perfect from him. We've seen a couple of little twitches, but nothing major, and he's really made the most of that opportunity as soon as he was to the front. And yeah, like we said before, 6 seconds clear now, more than. And it just keeps going up and up and up as that group fighting for second continues to get in each other's way a little bit. But yeah, it's still Boisri at the front of it then, but I have to see who is that yet. Still Mananda just behind him then, fighting it out for those podium places at the moment. But Firdaus still looking like he's definitely not giving up the ghost on this one. And it's a really, a little bit of a twitch there from Mananda, but it's a really solid group of riders here. There's a lot of talent in that group, a lot of guys who've already had great results, and I think this is going to be a pretty corking battle to the end.
Yeah, could well be. There's 4 long laps up for these guys still to do at 1 minute 48 seconds average. And Matsuyama's just got real shades of the first time we saw him get a double win back in Japan last year. So just even though that gap that time around did seem it's coming down by a couple of tenths, that's pretty uncatchable at this sort of stage in the race. There's the number 13 going through. That's Asman going through up into 4th position. But Munandar looks so good on the brakes down into turn 3. Not good enough for Brasri that time around. But he does seem to hook it up and get a good drive on the second part of that turn onto this second long straight here in Buriram.
Yeah, it definitely does. I wouldn't be surprised if Brasri's under a bit of attack at the end of the straight, although he seems to have a pretty good pace there in straight line, even without the slipstream.
He's a small thing.
He's a small thing. But, well, certainly making that pay for him. Bit of a Petrosa style there. But Firdaus then is ready to...
looking at that was that? Was Firdaus just going way too close to Boisri at the inside of turn 5.
I was going to say ready to rock and roll, and yeah, very much started doing just that. So I think this fight's going to start hotting up now for a couple of laps, but they do need to be careful because there's still a fair distance to go, and that final corner at Buriram will shuffle everything.
Yeah, you do wonder whether just patience might be a bit of a virtue here. No point trying to make any audacious moves at this sort of stage in the race as we're looking at. That's turn 9, look at left into turn 10, and then right again into turn 11. Then it's all about that little squirt down to turn 12, the final corner. But Firdaus, clearly, he really wants to run at the front of this pack. Although Munandar has other ideas, clearly. Takes a closer look up the inside. Not close enough this time, though, stays behind. Whether that was optional or not remains to be seen. But Boisri comes over the line yet again, does the tie rider. He ain't going to get that glorious win on home soil today. We'll get another chance at that tomorrow, we hope. But second could well be his.
Yeah, well, taking a look over his shoulder. Don't look back. Don't look back. Never waste the time on it. But yeah, I think Firdaus then looking like he is certainly the first of these to show a few more cards and really show his intention of, not even going to say fighting for the podium, just kind of... going again, there we go, just gets the move done that time, not too crazy, no. But he's really definitely here to party and try and fight for that podium. Some really impressive moves in the last couple of laps.
Firdaus on the edge of that corner just lifted his left leg off his foot peg there. I'm not quite sure what he was indicating to Munandar just behind him, but he's back in the lead again. Firdaus, he really shouldn't have probably led out that corner because he's just absolutely been mugged going into turns 4 and 5. So Boisri, the number 4 and 5, these guys look as though they're playing with everybody else. They seem completely in control almost of everything that's happening here in this second group. Just Firdaus and perhaps also the number 13 of Asman, just a little bit of a wild card, trying to mix it up with them all.
Yeah, definitely. You don't know what Firdaus was doing there, but it doesn't seem to have paid off too much there with losing the lead of this group. And again, we have Boisri and Munandar in the head of this fight for the podium. So I think if they are the guys who do end up on that podium, you cannot say they didn't earn it. They've put in a lot of mileage at the front of this little group here. And Asman now as well, looking a bit threatening in third. But I think this is anyone's because, you know, if you're at the front of this group and fighting it out, okay, maybe you get a little bit more TV time and will make a few more noises, but you're still well within a shot at the podium, even if you are on the back of this group, as long as you stay with them and then choose your moment as we get into the final couple of laps.
I was just wondering what they were looking at over to the right rather than to the left of their pit boards as they come along the home straight, and it's the big screen just after the start and finish straight. I'm not quite sure what they can see from that, but whatever, they seem to deem that it is useful for them. Of course, Boisri, he's looking for actually what would be his second podium of the season. His only other podium he's had has been that win that he got here. Munandar, bit of a different case for him.
Yeah, here we go then. It's all starting to get a little bit more racy. I know that was pretty close there. I know everyone hates that adjective, but it is what it is. And Munandar then at the moment in the head of this group. Firdaus again making a move back into the top couple of positions, fighting for the podium. But Munandar, I wouldn't take any money off him. He's looked strong the whole race. We'll have to see now as we are in the latter stages whether a few of those guys who've just been waiting at the back of this group now can strike and make their way through a little bit.
Well, trust me for saying that Boisri and Munandar looking in control of this race. Boisri has been absolutely mugged in the first half of this lap, been sent right towards the back of that group, though Munandar remains ever present just with Firdaus right in his eye line. Just behind them, Asman and then Igarashi. So 1:48 last time round, the quickest rider on track in this group then it seems to be Munandar. How that will change over this one, just 2 more laps to go, well 1.5 now, not even that, so this could be a bit of a dress rehearsal. Down towards the final corner then we come. Firdaus versus Munandar versus Asman. Who's going to be the latest breaker? On form, it looks like Munandar has been, and he knows exactly how to pull off a final corner move here at Buriram as well.
Yeah, it could be a dress rehearsal, but then again, it could be a few people not wanting to show their cards. It definitely looked like Munandar was close enough to try and make a move there, but he didn't, so maybe he's going for a bit of an element of surprise the last time around that corner. But at the moment then, Firdaus still at the head of the fight for second, and we're on the final lap now, so this is it, showtime.
Yeah, the final run down the long straight we have here in Buriram, and going right towards the grass was Munandar. They got someone ahead of him. I hope that's back. Oh no, that would be, of course, Matsuyama. Nearly forgotten about him. Here's the braking zone down into turn 3. Who's going to break the latest? Munandar maybe. Who's is at number 14, looking very racy at the inside there. But Firdaus comes out of it at the head of this group. But as we saw a couple of laps ago, that might not be beneficiary to him up into turn 4.
Yeah, that could not be beneficial. And Igarashi was the guy there pulling the absolute moves there. And got the job done though, kept it upright. So
Hey,
nice move in the end. And here we go then, like you said, exactly. It's not worked out well. He gets absolutely sandwiched there as well, does Firdaus. And we've got Boisri then back in the driving seat in the fight for second.
Yeah, that is Igarashi just behind him though. So Boisri bided his time, but blimey, just look at Firdaus. He had so much chatter going to turn 4. He was on the absolute limit. That front tyre was screaming. Absolutely no more, son, please. But Boisri has just bided his time to try and get this home podium once again.
Yeah, very much has. And Igarashi as well in a pretty good position there, but he's now under attack from, guess who? Mananda, another one who's been super consistent in this group then. And it looks like they're going to have to start getting a move on these guys that are just at the back of this group, because time is running out.
Time is running out because that's the penultimate corner. We are coming to the ultimate corner now. Mananda versus Boisri. They really were in control. They had us fooled all along. Boisri braking late, but look at that, Igarashi coming on the inside. He wipes them both out. Oh, what a disaster for those guys. They were not in control. They could not control Igarashi, but Matsuyama could. He could control them all. He wins it here in Buriram. Firdaus takes second place. Asman third. What a disaster of a final corner. Igarashi, that was reckless.
Yeah, that was a little bit over the limit there, but you know, we knew it was going to come from someone. This final corner, like we said, Buriram just invites those moves, and unfortunately it was an absolutely perfect hit on both of the riders just ahead of him. Front and rear just wiped out both of them. So really, you know, such bad luck for Boisri and Mananda. Had such an incredible race, and then see it all go down at the final corner. But you know, we all praise a lot of riders in the World Championship where they go for it and say, you know, you got to try. But that was a little bit over the limit there, and unfortunately a couple of other guys are paying the price alongside Igarashi. But then we've got Firdaus on the podium then, and Asman in third behind that man who's just waving on your screen. Super dominant, really impressive performance from Matsuyama.
Well, that couldn't have been more dramatic for the top 3 in the championship. Or are they still the top 3 in the championship? We will have to see.
How's your
imagine
maths?
So. Yeah, how is my maths?
The
Not very
replay
good.
then.
Igarashi, as well, as inside as you could possibly be. His front end shattered somewhat as it just screamed, no more. I cannot accept any more grip here. And look at this. Wow. So Wakamatsu did take Sho Nishimura at the final corner then. So it couldn't have really gone any worse for the top 3 today. Adnan Putra, maybe he's the only one who's managed to do a salvage job. He has. He finished 9th.
Yeah, Putra got out of that okay, that ride through in the end. Top 10, given all that drama ahead of him. And then obviously Matsuyama, who was 4th before this race. Really, really good job from him. But of course, Nishimura just score because we had our DNFs in the final corner drama, unfortunately. So Wakamatsu did manage to take him, but it was for 12th in the end, not for that final point with those 3 crashes at the final corner. You can see a couple of them just walking up to the marshals as well from our commentary position. Hopefully they're all okay and just angry rather than injured.
Well, that was one hectic 28, nearly 29 minutes of racing that we had here in Buriram Race 1, round 4 of the Asia Talent Cup in 2019. Riders coming back into pit lane then. I'm exhausted. What about you?
Yeah, it's always a crazy one, isn't it? The 18th. That's why we love it. The Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup, some of the best racing on the planet, genuinely. It's always a good show. And yeah, so Firdaus then, Indonesian, in second after that last corner drama. So that's a really, really good result for him. The first podium. And let's see who else we got then. And then we've got Asman as well,
result
Malaysian.
for him.
Yeah, great result for him as well. And first podium of the season as well. So there's going to be 2 very happy guys. Well, 3, because I'm sure Matsuyama will equally be beaming after his huge gains he's made in the standings. But yeah, a few sore riders tonight who really missed out, and a few of them through no fault of their own.
Well, here's another angle of the replay. Igarashi, that front end just went, nope, can't do any more.
I have to say, it definitely looks a lot worse from that angle.
Yeah.
It really does. So, yeah, really unfortunate.
Slow motion as well.
Slow-mo as well.
And it was Brasri who really took the biggest hit. His bike turned absolutely at 90 degrees, and he was really flung over the top of it.
You can see as well, the guys coming through, a little bit of a glance over to what was happening there as well before they go around the corner. Oh, big drama there.
Sparks flying at the end of the Asia Talent Cup
like we
race.
said, these guys, such great races fighting for second, and they look like they were definitely the two favourites to end up on the podium. But yeah,
even
there you go.
Brasri braked as late as he possibly could, because you can see the front end chattering for him there, and well, Munandar told Igarashi what he thought of it. I don't think we'll repeat what he just said, if I think that's what he just said.
Here we go then, race winner, who I'm sure has a few kinder words
to say to his crew.
Yeah, absolutely incredible performance from Matsuyama there. That puts him right back in there. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see the standings. I'm not sure I'm feeling up to doing like 5 different lots of pro maths at the moment to try and fit it all together.
Not after that
but
one.
I'm sure we'll see the standings very soon. You can see happiness to getting into Parc Ferme then for the first time. And Matsuyama still looks super cool, doesn't he? Still super calm about it, you know. Yeah, just completely dominated them and was able to even slack off a few seconds in the last few laps.
Real old school Japanese rider feel about him. In his riding style, in his manner, just quiet, goes about his business. Just does some extraordinary things when he wins.
I'm a fan of that. I like that.
Me too.
Good way to be, in a super good style to watch as well. And was that Adam Norridin we saw down in Parc Ferme? Parc Ferme. So here we go then. Nishimura, still our championship leader, despite all of that drama for him with that, I was going to say first lap incident, but even earlier than that, really. And then Matsuyama then moves up into second, only 10 points back. Munandar loses out, and Putra as well. But still pretty close between those guys.
Oh, very, very close indeed. 125 points still available, and we've seen just how quickly things can change here in the Asia Talent Cup. This man knows that better than anyone right now, does Matsuyama. So 125 points more available. One race tomorrow after all the other racing has finished in the Grand Prix classes. In a couple of weeks' time, I head to this man's home race in Motegi, where last year he took a double victory.
Yeah, a good way to set yourself up, really, isn't it? When you know it's a venue that you've gone so well at in the past. So at least he's definitely won half of the races at Buriram. That will not be changed. And just debriefing a little bit down there then with Hiroshi Ayama. So, yeah, I like the nod of approval that he got there when he walked over Matsuyama. Good job.
Yeah, Hiroshi, well, was last, of course, Grand Prix world champion from Japan. So, is he classed as, would it be offensive to call him old school?
I don't know, because in my mind he seems old school, but that's not, I don't say that as a negative
10
way.
years ago.
I say it, you know, with all the positivity, almost like, yeah proper champion.
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
I don't have the opinion at all that any era is really better than another or any rider better than another.
Nope.
They're all amazing. But,
well,
you know.
Here are the final results then. Takuma Matsuyama takes the win. 3 seconds eventually ahead of Herjan Firdaus. And Syarifudin Azman, the Malaysian rider. Idil bin Mahadi took 4th place, from Batumios as well in 5th. Oh, we've got a ticker at the bottom of the screen. I hope that's going to give us some information soon. But anyways, Thurikij finishes 6th from Railstone Bando, and Adananta Putra at that 9th place with a pit lane ride through as well.
Yeah, so shout out to bin Mahadi, definitely, of those guys. Best finish by a real long shot. So that was really good for him, at least taking that 4th place. So here we are on page 2 then. We've got Warit Thong Nopakun then. In the end, after that incident, 50 seconds off the win, but some good points.
Yeah, after him, Kadir Erbey, the Turkish rider. We can follow in the steps of the Onju twins. 11th place from Sho Nishimura in 12th, and Wakamatsu 13th. I don't think that's... Oh,
not sure then, not sure what happened over the line. We'll have to see.
Well,
but that's the classification then. Although you can see that the timings are the other way around, so we'll see.
Maybe
what
exceeding
went on
track
there.
limits or something.
Very possibly.
Okay, well, we'll see anyways. Maybe he caused the incident down at turn 3 and they've deducted... I'm just purely conjecture. Oh, no, there we go. 1 position penalty for overtaking under a yellow...
There you go.
Oh, we missed it completely. Final corner, of course, where they just had the crash. That's why.
Ah, yes, okay.
My apologies. So here is confirmation of what that does to the championship in a broader sense then. These are the top 9 riders. Takuma Matsuyama, the real beneficiary, moves up 1 place, 108 points to his name. 11 back, yes, with the adjusted race results as well. And Fritz Munendar moves down a place, 97 points to his name. Adananta Putra, 90 from Warit Thonglothakun. Tachakon Boisri, oh, that could have been so different for him. Herjan Firdaus, Petumios and Asmat round out the top 9 here. On day 1, Igarashi 10th from Bin Mahadi, Mutta Kim in 12th from Voigt in 13th, Kasuma 14th, I should say, sorry, Ralstone 15th from Bando, Luke Power and Wakamatsu in 18th. 19th, Wapa Thurakij in 19th, Kadir Urbe, and 21st, Shinji Ogo. Well, Fran, I hope we just about recover in time for that one. We'll be off to get some pad thai this evening and plenty of recovery drinks. I'm sure these guys will need plenty of that after that such a race there.
Yeah, definitely. You see debriefing then.
In the shade.
In the shade, because the podium here is over the other side of the track to Parc Ferme. So a bit of a bigger challenge than some circuits to head over there. But yeah, certainly getting some shade and well, there's a really good conversation going on between those two guys explaining their points of view on that race. But again, Matsuyama super cool about it. And,
I think part of the issue might be a bit of issue of
maybe
translation between the two there.
A little bit. I was just thinking that.
Of course, Malaysian and Indonesian language is not the same, obviously, but I believe they can understand each other, a bit like Spaniards and Italians can just about understand each other. Well, onto the podium. 3rd place then comes Asman. Firdaus up to 2nd place. Substantially taller frame for him. No wonder he was losing out on the straights. Matsuyama, though, the small frame. His butt patch is coming off. 1st place for the Japanese rider who takes the win here. His first one of the season. Well, hand out 3rd place trophy then. We have our dignitary. Photo opportunity. Oh, look at that, with the big 35 on his arm. Songkyak Chantra, of course. Very well-known name around here, absolutely. 2nd place to Herjan Firdaus. Of course, the winner's trophy. First one of 2019 will go to Takuma Matsuyama. Oh, he's only just about as tall as Firdaus there. He must have on the top
amazing,
step.
Isn't it? So yeah, lifts the trophy then. Very much deserved win, and I'm sure now we'll get to hear the national anthem of Japan.
Japanese national anthem rings out here at Buriram for Takuma Matsuyama. Will it be the same again tomorrow? Well, he surely hopes so. 3:30 local time will be racing then. So let's get a look at these highlights from a drama overload race 1 here at Buriram. Well, here we go then. Start of the race. Fist bumps, ahoy. The lights went out and it was drama from the get-go. Shon Ishimura taking off from the 2nd row of the grid. A rocket start from him, but he asked too much of that rear tyre on the exit of turn 1 and fling it at the scenery. He did. Down he goes, taking a rider with him as well. Oh, that was a really hard, a really hard crash out of the first lap for him, but it was all drama down at turn 3 as well on that first lap as well. Although we haven't seen it this time around, it was, oh yes we did, it was at the back door of the field there. But this second group, well, as Matsuyama made hay and cleared off out front, it was all about the second group and who would come up trumps come that final corner. But still, drama even before we got there. Oh, we didn't even get to see that slow motion before. That was Stonglopicum being wiped out of the race, sadly.
That was pretty dramatic move across the screen there for one of those riders involved in that incident. And then again, there was even more drama.
Yeah, that awaited us, of course. Munandar and Boisri, they looked completely in control of this race. They really, they knew exactly what to do with the slipstream, where they needed to start on the final lap. But the one thing they couldn't control was an erratic number 14 in the Asia Talent Cup. A big Arashi there, ever present, like Jaws almost. This man, though, absolutely unflappable. Cool as you like. Oh, it's come undone there as well, it looked like. Bit of a scary one, that. But this was coming down to the final corner. Front tyre asked off too much. Down he went, along with Brasri and Munandar. And it was feared Alsan Asman to take the victory. Will it be a Thai man on top of the podium tomorrow? Or will this man reign supreme once again? Join us at 3:30 local time for the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup Round 4, Race 2.